Sigulda in Latvia, race 6 of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup season. 2 more World Cups to go. Altenburg before the World Championships, and then Lake Placid to round out the year. But before then, we have to round out our first of 2 two-man competitions this weekend. 20 sleds go in the second heat, from 21 that started the first. And at the top of the pile, we have, as so often on this track, pretty intense battle for the honours. Top 5 are covered by 22 hundredths of a second. Mickey Vogt, 8 hundredths off the lead in third place. This is as close to as dead heat as you're going to get without an actual dead heat. Second place, Johannes Lochner and Georg Fleischhauer, 100 faster than Vogt and Sandro Mikkel. They are 7 hundredths off the lead after the first of our 2 runs. And leader, of course, is Francesco Friedrich of It's Adam Amor of Germany, with Benedikt Hertel behind him. Friedrich is in fact in 4th place, 15 hundredths off the leader's first run time. Well, Friedrich and new brakeman Matthias Sommer started fastest of all, but Adam Amor and Benedikt Hertel in their 3rd race together started 486, second quickest of all. And they have the fastest run, but by not very much. And when we talk about not very much, we really mean not very much at all on this track. Look at the top 5, 22 hundredths. So Friedli, who's had a silver and a bronze here. Friedrich, who's had 7 wins. to start the count. Vogt, who's also a medalist on this track, double winner last year, Johannes Lochner, and a man who's not won a medal here yet, Adam Amour, are all in the counting. And at the other end of the field, well, Adam Dobesh does make it into the field. Alexei Boron, unfortunately, for Poland, does not. Well, there is Francesco Friedrich, enjoying, not being the right word, his longest winless streak so far. Air temperature +6, and that's why the track, I think, went away in the first heat later in the run. There was not speed to be found. It's a lot warmer than it was yesterday. Yesterday it was about 1 to 2 degrees of air temperature, -5 to 6 of ice. Today, -4 of ice, but the refrigeration is on hard, and that makes the ice frosty, and that stops the runners lubricating the surface. Essentially, as the weight of the sled presses the runner onto the ice, a little micro sheen of water is created to help lubricate and reduce friction. And the warmer the air is, the easier that is. So the quicker the track remains, but also the quicker the surface softens. Well, in reverse of the first heat performance, Adam Dobesh and David Buresh go off first, and Adam Amour and Benedikt Hertel will go last. So the Adams have got the field surrounded. Dobesh in 20th and Amour in first. Who's going to win this? I'm afraid there's really only one way of telling. I'm not putting money on anybody. Adam Dobesh and David Buresh of the Czech Republic. They nearly didn't make it in, but they were 20th in the first heat, and so here we go. They are first off as we go last to last in heat 2. Adam Dobesh, 31 years of age, 2 World Cups here last year only, 10th and 12th in both of the 2 races last year. 20th place of the first heat, 1.3 seconds back and 1300s adrift of his teammate Matej Behunek. But he has the benefit of being first on the ice this time. As long as the track doesn't speed up, that should not be to his detriment. 5:09 in the second getaway, 5:06 in the first. Trying to keep it clean on these long straights and avoid pulling on the brakes before the final corner. Across the line, 50.29, 51.05 in the first heat. That is a big improvement. How much of that is better drive? How much of that is better ice? Remains to be seen, but is going to be a little bit hard to define, I'm afraid. Well, he's laughing, that feels better. And my reference to brakes into corner 16. For those who didn't see first heat, Mattia Variola of Italy, his brakeman hauled on the anchors. Fabio Batti in the penultimate run of the competition in the first heat, going into corner 16. There are only 2 straights on this track. First straight, second straight, another big corner, then brakes. So clearly, brakeman having trouble counting to 2. Well, big smiles from Adam Dobesh and David Buresh. David making his 2-man World Cup debut here. Their teammates were out just before them, 17th of the 21 sled. Matej Behunek and Antonin Vijas. Antonin, his 4th 2-man World Cup race, a 5th for the driver. Half of his previous World Cup starts were here last year, 12th and 13th. So he was just behind Adam Dobesh last year. Dobesh 10th and 12th. Behunek a little in front of his teammate this time out, and still has a slender advantage as well of a 1/10 of a second. They started the same time, 5:09, as Dobesh and Buresh. This could be a close one. Still in the green by not much. 1300s now, 2300s. Better speed as well than their teammates. So it's not the track. It was a better drive from Adam Dobesh, but this is better again from Behunek. And across the line, 50.04. That's 8800s better than his first heat. Adam Debesh is struggling a little for performance this season after making his World Cup debut last year. Debesh, we're thinking he might be improving a little. 10th place here, and in Altenburg last year were his best results. This year, his best result has been a 15th place finish in St. Moritz. Whereas teammate Bahunek, 18th and the 19th up to now, has outperformed his teammate in the first of the two-man races. Tomorrow's second of the double-header will be the European Championships as well.
Ciao.
So Mate on the left, Antonin on the right, now on the left. As we get to Adam Baird and Jens Huller for Great Britain. Adam making his two-man World Cup debut after making his four-man World Cup debut in Lillehammer last week. And Jens, his two-man World Cup debut as well, a former rower, came into Talent ID in June last year, had his first trip down the tracks in November. So 18th after the first heat. They started 5.17 in the first heat. They go 500s quicker, 5.12. Borrowing their sled from Adele Nichols. She'll race it in tomorrow's women's bob race. I'm guessing Adam might race it in the afternoon as well. It's getting a lot of duty, this sled. Still in the green. Pulling away, 1100s up. Nice exit out of 14. That's the way to do it. Top speed as well. Nice run through 16 and across the line, 49.93. That is getting on for 9/10 quicker than their first heat. That's excellent stuff. Well, last week we welcomed Adam Baird to the World Cup as a four-man driver. This weekend as a two-man driver. Makes the cut in his first race and has two more experienced drivers behind him. And he was only 600s behind the next driver as well, Poland's Radoslav Sobczyk. So good effort. Tidied up a couple of crucial areas from the first run. And still plenty more to do. So bearing the scars of battle, sled of Radoslav Sobczyk and David Buber from Poland. They were third out of the start this morning, this afternoon even, after lunch, with Adam Baird, Adam Debesh and Matej Buchenek coming 15, 16 or so sleds later. So these guys had pressurized conditions, 5:18 dart in the first heat, and their advantage only 600s over the current leaders, and that's down to 3 as they start 5:15. So the Brits outstarted them by 100th in the first heat, now start them by 300s in the second, and already that first heat advantage has turned into a deficit. I think Adam Baird and Jens Huller will have serious hopes of staying in the leaders' box. In fact, this might be Radoslav Sobczyk dropping to the tail of field. Gets a tidy exit out of 14, third best speed. Third of the 4 sleds so far. And 4700s, much too far back to contest the lead or second place. And he's a whisker behind Debesh. So Jens Huller on the right, he's got a rower's height to him, hasn't he, Jens? And Radoslav Sobczyk and David Buber drop to the tail of the field. Well, they will be no worse than 20th, but I fancy perhaps no better. Well, decent exit out of 14. A little wriggle of the runners just to drift him across to the left-hand side to get onto 15. In front of the big crowd down here. They've just seen the medal ceremony for the Monobob race between our 2 heats and for the Mono European Championships as well. So Radoslav and David don't get a shot in the leader's box. Next up then, Sun Kai-chi for China, and another of our two-man World Cup debutants. This is 20-year-old Ding Yunda, the big man on the back. Has not had a previous IBSF authorized race at all. So training runs, possibly runs back home in collections in China. But either way, the big boy made his debut in a sled in the World Cup. 5:01 in the first heat, 5:01 in the second. Well, they only had 900 in hand over Adam Baird. They outstart him by 11, so that makes it 2/10, 2400s up now. Sun Kai-chi should be higher up the order based on last year's performance. Last year he was a little quicker, not last year, 2 years ago, 20th and 18th. Last year didn't come here to Sigulda, but was improving. Gaps coming down. Only got his first heat advantage left. Third best speed. Is it enough? It ought to be enough, and it is by just 700s. Well, funded by the People's Republic of China, beating a self-funded debutante by 700ths of a second. Sun needs more time on this track, mind you. So does Adam Baird, who he has just eased out of the leader's box to try and get the best out of it. Well, pretty decent run out of 14. That really saved his bacon. A skid there, they would definitely not have made it across the line with their noses in front. Little gap now after the first 5 sleds to the next man, as Sun Kai-chi leads from Adam Baird and Matej Behunek. 2900s advantage for Mattia Variola of Italy. Fabio Batti may be under strict instructions not to brake until his driver shouts at him. With these guys a little bit in no man's land in 15th place, they would have been much closer to the battle for 12th if the brakeman had not hauled on the brakes going in corner 16. 498 getaway. Little double tap exiting corner 1, not good. So that's probably making it the equivalent of a 509 start, not a 498. And their margin has barely increased over Sun Kai-chi. From 2200s up to 25 to get out of the lower labyrinth. A tap and his little skid, gradually improving that advantage. Another double tap down to 16. Didn't cost them too much speed. Variola will lead at the line. 2800 up, 49.86. Great vantage point right by the finish line for the fans. The VIP enclosure is just behind them as well. See the white tent in the background. Well, there's Mattia Variola leaping into the sled with Fabio Batti behind him, pulling the brakes in the correct place this time. 24th World Cup start as driver in two-man for 28-year-old Mattia Variola. Wasn't here last year. His career best 12th place finish on this track. And right now he leads with 14 to go. They might have to come back and try again tomorrow. Frank Del Duca of the USA and Hakeem Abdul-Saur. Frank's first time driving on this track. His first World Cup season as a bobsled driver. 32 years of age. 10th race start in the front seat after 3 two-man break. 21st two-man start for Hakeem. His last race start was in La Playa in two-man. Good getaway, 5 dead. A little rocky on some of these transitions though. Only his first time on this track, Del Duca. The advantage here, of course, is that you're training for 2 races, so you get 6 training heats. They're all in the same sled, rather than having to split your time between 2-man and 4-man. 1100's the advantage, only the 4th best speed though. So the gap is slender over Variola. 4th best speed still. Got ahead to the line, 1300's in front, 49.90. So 5400's better than his first heat. Looks like the track is definitely holding up. In the Parker at the back there, Shauna Roebuck, Olympic medalist, and now driver coach. So they move into the lead. There were 1700s up from the first heat, 1300s up after the second. Late flop of 14. Didn't do too much damage.
You got a great track and great fans. Thank you.
They do, don't they? It is tough, though. It is hard to learn for the first time, a second time, a third time, a fourth timer here. The first of our Latvian crews now is 24-year-old Jēkabs Kalenda, another former rower, and 25-year-old Dāvis Kaufmans. It's only the 3rd 2-man World Cup start for the brakeman. I beg pardon, only the 5th 2-man World Cup start for the brakeman. 3 of those have been as a driver. He's only braked once, and that was in the race in Beijing. And these guys with 100 in hand over Frank Del Duca and Hakeem Abdul Sabur. And they start 495, so let's make that 600 in hand. Well, now, where the Americans up 100, our Latvian duo dropped 300, so that closes the margin immediately, and they have nothing of their first heat advantage remaining. So now it is down to Jēkabs Kalenda to drive himself into the lead ahead of Frank Del Duca. It's top 3 speed at the bottom to do so. Sideways off 14. Hits the wall hard out of 15. He hasn't got the speed. Del Duca staying in the leader's box, and he drops 2. So drops behind Mattia Variola. What can you do, Slandis? Well, you can't drive this sled yourself any longer. The Latvian program with 2 relatively young drivers in it. So this is a period of rebuilding. After the talents of Oskars Melbardis and then Oskars Kibermanis have both retired from the program. Coming out here, hard hit with the wall, took away the speed that he needed to try and keep his head in front of the Americans, and he slipped back down the order. Well, Frank Del Duca, only 10 World Cup starts. Jēkabs Kalenda, only 11. Mihai Centea, though, 29 World Cup starts. His brakeman, Mihai Pacianu, in only his 4th 2-man World Cup race. He's done 8 4-man races as well. That's in bobsled. He is a former skeleton athlete. A good couple of dozen World Cup races in skeleton. And the transfer, well, that was easy to come by. His dad, Julian, is the bobsleigh coach. And initially, Mihai Pacianu wanted to be a bobsledder, but he was small and light, so he started in skeleton. 5:10 the getaway. So 5:08 in the first heat. Well, these guys were tied with Latvia's Jēkabs Kalenda and Dāvis Kaufmans, and just 100th ahead of Frank Del Duca. They started a 10th back. That gap has opened up to 2600s now. Mihai Centea knows this track well. He's had decent results here. 7th place finish his best. A career equaling best run back in November 2020, but he hasn't been here for a couple of seasons. Across the line, he's 3,800s back. He drops 3 places. Now then, are we seeing the track giving up speed? Or rather, are we seeing the track not giving up speed to the drivers? Is it slowing down in the warm afternoon air? Yeah, not great. Well, mistakes don't help. As Julian Pacianu right in the back. They only had 100th in hand over Frank Del Duca. They've come down 3,800s behind, only just in front of Sun Kai Chi. And only a 10th in front of Adam Baird. One more mistake, and they would have dropped 6 places rather than 4. So, 11 to go. Next up is Switzerland's Cedric Follador. Quentin Jaillard making his 2nd World Cup start. His debut was in Park City in December 2020. He raced the 4-man there the next day. Has not raced anywhere since then. So the 27-year-old joins his 29-year-old driver. 11th and 10th here last year, Cedric Follador. Right now, 11th after first of our 2 heats, and 400s out of 10th, but in the battle for the top 6. Start 5:10, the same as the Mihais in the Romanian sled. That's a loss, 400s at the start that they can ill afford, and the company they're keeping. 3rd at the moment on the splits, 1,200s back. The gap 1st to 2nd is 1,300s, 1st to 3rd, 2,400s. At this rate, they may drop 2 places. Across the line, 2nd tied with Mattia Variola. And the Americans move the game. When Frank Del Duca, 49.90. Only 2 sleds have gone sub 50. The other one was Adam Baird, 49.93. Oh, and Mattia Variola, 49.86. And Sun Kai Chi, 49.95. Okay, only 4. Only 4. But Frank Del Duca moving up the order. He was only 100th behind Calendar and Tentea. And he was 600s behind Follador, and he's picked all them off. He was 800s behind the next sled, and that is Latvia's Emils Tsipolis. And if the track is slowing down, 700ths of a second is the blink of a human eye. 800ths of a second, as you will appreciate, is absolutely nothing. 10 down, 10 to go. Emils Tsipolis, Springers need a big start here. 4th and 8th here last year, Emils. Starting 4.94, fastest so far. And he had a dreadful time at the bottom of the track. Gets a double tap and knocked away into corner 4. Means the upper labyrinth is going to be a bit of a handful. And he was shocking below corner 13 in his first heat. If he can tidy that up, he could jump up into the top 6. If he doesn't, he might plummet as well. The gap's down from 1,600 at the start to 1,100s. Much better, but he's at 300s in front. Only 7th best speed. He's still in the green. Only 7th best speed. He's going to be behind at the line. He drops as well. No, he does not. A 50.0 slide. They do not rise, but they do not fall. Tied for 10th with Frank Del Duca. Well, Frank will take that first time ever at a track like this. possibly the closest in nature he's been to so far this season to home ice in Lake Placid. Nevertheless, Del Duca, 4th in La Plagne, 4th in Innsbruck, 13th in St. Moritz, 5th in Lillehammer, and now tied for 10th. Well, tied for the lead with 9 to go, so it will be a top 10 finish. Next up, Brad Hall and Taylor Lawrence, and this is a tight group. These guys were just 1100s ahead, 1200s ahead of Frank Del Duca, and only 200s ahead of Emil Tsipolis, but 200s off 8th in front of them, 500s off 7th, 700s off 6th. So again, just one iota of difference anywhere on the run could move them up or down. Well, Brad, 5th in race 1 last year, tied for 4th in race 2, but off a fitter back. 496 getaway, 493 and 496. He's holding up well. And don't forget, when you're injured, 2-man is harder because you've only got one additional athlete to help you at the start. 1400s up. 17. Now he's got better speed. All in wavy in 11. Needs to tidy it up in 13. Exit of 14 has got to be good. The gaps are not big here. It's good. Only the 4th best speed, but we just saw Tsipolis come down with the 7th best speed. And Brad was quick at the bottom in the first heat. Big waves in 16. Watch the lead at the line, 1400s. All right, so Brad Hall and Big T Taylor Lawrence lead with 8 to go. That's a pretty decent drive, 49.88. Good second heat. 4500s quicker than their first run. 11 to 12 was a little rocky. And out of 14, and out of 15, just a little skiddy as well.
Not the best day today.
All right, it's still a top 10 finish, and you're still injured, Brad. Next up, Li Chunjian of China. 2nd out of the start shed this morning. Keep saying this morning. It's this afternoon. Li in his 21st 2-man World Cup race. Race 2 last year, where he was 6th after finishing 8th in the first, is his World Cup best ever result. In fact, his 2 best World Cup results have come here. He matched 8th place in Beijing, which he got in race 1 yesterday. And Chen Heng, first day pushing with Li Chunjian in a race. He's been with Sun Kai-chi all season long. 1 dead in the first heat, 5 dead in the second. They go behind Brad Hall. They had 200s, they started 400 slower, and so undoing that will take a little while. Only the 12th best speed, and the gap's out to 1100s. This is going to be tough. He needs to be absolutely clean as a whistle down the bottom. Gets a exit out of 14, 8th best speed. But Hall was in the top 4 or 5 this stage in terms of pace. And he is going to sink like a stone. Li Chunjian 6th at the line. So Brad Hall moves up, Emil Tsipolis moves up, Frank Del Duca moves up, Cedric Follador moves up with Mattia Variola. So we've got Brad Hall and then 2 dead heats all moving up. Li Chunjian dropping behind them both. Again, getting his knee caught. He needs to have some more work on getting into the sled without that pause. Out of 14. Watch the runner tips. It's allowing the sled to drift over to drivers left. That's where you need to be for corner 15. By that stage, the damage was done. He'd lost too much up top. Marcus Treichel next up for Austria. Always looks like he's a freeze frame there. Christian Huber behind him. Christian raced last week and in Beijing. They're his only two-man starts this season. Last year, Marcus Treichel, 13th in race 1, 7th in race 2, and he's sort of in that race 2 position now in 7th place, but starting 5:01 might be under pressure from our current leader, Brad Hall. He only had 500s in hand from the first heat. Briefly into the green, then back into the red. Fourth best speed. Oh, big skid into 11. Rocky out of 12. This is going to be touch and go. This could be very close at the line. 900's back. Fifth best speed. He might still pull the fat from the fire if he rescues it down in 16. Comes in on the wrong side. Big burst pressure. 7th best speed. Not going to get there. Does not get there. He drops down to 4th place behind Hall, Tipoulis and Del Duca. Oh, Christian Huber. Is he okay? No, he's not. Now, he may not have been sitting entirely correctly for his comfort in the sled. The G-forces really bend you in half, force the body down, and when you're bent over anyway, lower back take a lot of beating, and that late exit certainly won't have helped. That's 11 to 12. That's a pretty vicious transition. Well, Christian won't have to race tomorrow. There are others who can do it for him. There you go, a bit more of a smile on his face, but I sense there might be physio in his immediate future. Right, we're into the top 6 with Patrick Baumgartner and Eric Fantazzini. And they only have 700s in hand over Brad Hall and Taylor Lawrence, our current leaders. So Brad Hall, Emis Sapoulis and Frank Del Duca all moving up. Del Duca 14th after the first heat will currently be no worse than 8. 5:06 set away. Well, it's a whisker quicker than their first, but again, they give away a 10th to Brad Hall and Taylor Lawrence, and they did not have a 10th spare. There was no meat on the bone in this part of the race. From 300s back to 500s back, it'll be out to a 10th by the next clock. Oh, he's managed just about to hold on. Keeping it alive, 600s back, 4th best speed. This could be very close indeed. Very, very close. 3rd best speed. Is he in front? He is by 200ths of a second. Well, Patrick Baumgartner hanging on in front by the skin of his teeth. A very slender advantage in 11 to 12. Again, in the back seat, Eric Fantazzini will have felt all of that. Giovanni Mulasano dying 1,000 deaths on that run. Well, he and Eric are offered their congratulations by Brad Hall and Taylor Lawrence. Yeah, don't slap him too hard on the back. Patrick Baumgartner leads to go. Now we get into another group of athletes. 5 sleds remain, 2200s cover them 1st to 5th. This is where the medals are likely to be won. Tiemann Friedli with Luca Rolli behind him. Both Friedlis, silver and bronze, 2-man World Cup medals have come on this track. He does know how to win here. He doesn't know how to win here, but he does know how to win medals. 493 start. Half a second up. It's not about the sleds behind. This is all about trying to get into the medals. It's a big advantage over Baumgartner, but Wavy in 11, only the 10th best speed. He can't fall behind pushing Baumgartner from here, surely. That's down to 4,400, only the 9th best speed. Good exit, clean into 60. No, hits the hammer on the way in. And across the line, he will be the leader, but lost 1,600s on the way down the track. Barely any faster than Baumgartner. 49.90. Frank Del Duca set a 49.90, and he was 14th in the first heat. Del Duca now in 4th place, equal with Emil Sapoulis, with 4 to go. But Friedli, I'm afraid that was a medal slipping out of his grasp. Again, 11 to 12. Such a hard transition to get right. When you do, the brakeman knows all about it, and when you don't, he really knows all about it. All right, Simon Friedli leads, 4 to go, and when we get to Francesco Friedrich, and there's still 3 more sleds after him, you know the season he's having. 7 wins on this track alone for Francesco Friedrich. He's also had 2 silver medals, hasn't had a bronze yet. Well, at the moment, he's not even in a medal position after the first heat. 1,500 off the lead, 700s out of the medals for Francesco Friedrich, with Matthias Sommer behind him for the very first time. We start 4.84, fastest start of the competition in the first heat, and they match it in the second. 2,400s up, game. It's not about Friedli. It's about Friedrich trying again to find a really good run on this track. 9 medals in 10 previous races here, but he has had one where he was outside the top 10. 2,600s up, only the 6th best speed. The track is no longer quick. If Friedrich can't find it, it ain't there to find. Best speed at the bottom though, 49.61. That is a big run from Francesco Friedrich. Gets the applause from coach René Spies, and rightly so. Friedrich, a 7-time winner on this track. Since we came here in the World Cup, the other race winners have been Oskars Melbardis twice, Rostislav Gajtukovic once, and Johannes Lochner last year twice. And France has taken the remaining 7 of 12. Is he in a position where he's going to win this one? He's in a long winless streak. Has not won a 2-man World Cup race or World Championship race since Park City in December 2022. Final 3 sleds. Switzerland's Mickey Vogt with Sandro Mickel behind him. 800s off the lead. As close to dead heat as you're likely to see, but only 300s in front of Francesco, beg your pardon, only 700s in front of Francesco Friedrich. So they're really under pressure. 492 first heat. 490 in the second, so they only lose 6 of their 700s. When you start just 100 there to Francesco Friedrich, oh, you better not make mistakes early on. Still has 100th. And that shows that Friedrich wasn't as clean as he has been at the top either. 400s, 3rd best speed, quicker than Friedrich was at this stage. The Stichier sled flies when that going is good. 4th best speed, 600s in front. He's almost got his entire first heat advantage back. 6th best speed, but Friedrich was the fastest of all. This will be really close to the 100th. 300s in front. We saw the smile from Francesco Friedrich and Matthias Sommer. Mickey Vogts is in the medals again in Sigulda. He leads with 2 to go. 49.65 slide. They found a whisker more at the start, an extra couple of hundreds to bring it to Francesco Friedrich. Mickey Vogts and Sandra Mikkel have been together for so long. They probably spend more time with each other than they do with their own partners. Such a cohesive unit, and they're in the medal once more. Well, Vogts is the leader. Bronze medalist in the last race on this track last year. Here's the gold medalist from both races. In fact, the gold medalists from both races last year, Johannes Lochner and Georg Fleischhauer. Well, if he finishes in the medals, this will be a big one for Hansi Lochner, his 3rd two-man World Cup race. Double winner last year, and he has a total of 74 World Cup medals to his credit. Any colour here, and he will be a 75-time medal winner. Good start, 4.84. They started 87 in the first heat, but they tie Friedrich and his crew. They know they need everything. Hansi only 200s up. He's in the red now behind Mickey Vogts and Sandro Mikkel. 11th best speed. This could be going very much the wrong way for last year's double winner here. Johannes Lochner and Georg Fleischhauer have had 4 wins so far this season. 900s back from Mickey Vogts. Francesco Friedrich's only 300s back. This is going to be 1st or 3rd. 3rd. They may not get a medal. Johannes Lochner, Georg Fleischhauer. 3rd place with 1 to go. Well, that got away from Hansi. Come back and try again tomorrow. Not a bad exit out of 14. By that stage, he needed speed so badly. It had to be absolutely perfect, and it wasn't. Big height in 15, needed a clean exit as well. Speed was not there. Well, he'll be back tomorrow for another two-man encounter and looking to win again. Well, will this be the first time this season that Johannes Lochner and Georg Fleischhauer have not finished in the medals? They lie 3rd behind Francesco Friedrich and our leader, Mickey Vogts. So for Adam Amor and Benedikt Hertel, this is the crunch time. Adam Amor made his debut here last year in the 2nd race only. Max Hillman drove in the 1st. Benny Hertel behind him for the last 3 races. They have put on a good show. The question now is, can they win this one? 4.86 in the first heat, 4.82 in the second. 1,500s ahead of Mickey Vogts. Vogts was great at this stage, 1,200s in front. Is the temperature not right for the runner choices of the German sliders? He's still in the lead at 10th best speed. This could be to the 100th of a second. We might even get a joint gold medal finish. Adam Amor at the line, in front or behind. It is gold for Adam Amor, his first career win. Jubilation from René Speed and from Isam Amor, Adam's older brother there. You saw in the leader's box, he was not going to miss watching this one at first hand. Adam Amor is a World Cup winner. Adam Amor, Benedikt Hertel take the gold here. And for Benny, that's his first World Cup win, as it is for Adam Amor. Didn't race in Beijing. fifth in La Plan, bronze in Innsbruck and last week in Lillehammer, sixth in San Moritz, and now gold, where he made his World Cup debut just a little over a year ago. Well, that's a fantastic way to open proceedings here for Adam Amour. 49.72 in the first heat, the fastest run. 49.61 in the second heat, also the fastest run. He didn't do it by others giving it away, he did it by taking it. Mickey Vogt gets the silver, Francesco Friedrich takes the bronze, and for the first time this season, Hansi Lochner and Georg Fleischer are out of the medals in fourth ahead of Stephen Friedli and Patrick Baumgartner, again performing well. Behind him, Brad Hall, Emis Tsipoulis and Frank Del Duca tied for eighth. Marcus Treichel in 10th ahead of Cedric Follador and Mattia Barriola. But what a story for Adam Amour, Benedikt Hertel. Last year, Adam made his debut with his buddy Sam behind him. Benedikt Hertel able to squeeze out a fraction more in the starts. He started the last three races with Adam. They raced together in the World Championships last year and crashed out in the two-man. And there, finally, they have their first win. Well, they have threatened all season to be in amongst the medals. They've had 2 bronzes, and now they have that gold. Johannes Lochner still leads the World Cup standings from Francesco Friedrich, who closes the whisker. Mickey Vogt in third ahead of Stephen Friedli and Emil Tsipoulis. Patrick Baumgartner in 6th ahead of the fast-approaching Adam Amour. What a great season that young man is having. And Frank Del Duca, again, rookie season in the World Cup. What a year he's having. Brad Hall now moving up the order steadily after a slow start to the season, missing the first 2 races after pre-season back surgery, and gradually returning to his best. They'll all get a chance to go again tomorrow. Adam Baird making his 2-man World Cup debut. So Adam Baird and John Stanbury, both debutants this year, as so many have been. Chris Horn, Jakob Mandelbauer, and a whole bunch of them making their World Cup debuts. Well, there is your podium. Adam Amour, Mickey Vogt, Francesco Friedrich, the top 3 drivers with their braking crews, Matthias Sommer, Sandra Nickel and Benedikt Hertel there in the centre. And that is it for Saturday in Sigulda. Sunday, we have women's bobsleigh and the second of our 2-man races. And the women will be on ice at 10 local, 0800 BMT. That is 0300 Eastern. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Gehen wir. Francesco Friedrich, Matthias Sommer. Normalerweise ist die erste Frage für Franz, aber Matthias, ich fange mit dir an. Dein ersten Rennen im Weltcup und gleich das Podium.
Ja, ich bin froh. Auf jeden Fall zwei schöne Starts heute gehabt und ja, auf jeden Fall freue ich mich, dass ich dem Team so helfen konnte.
Ja. Ein guter Anfang deiner Karriere.
Naja, ich habe ja auch schon so ein paar Erfolge gehabt, aber diese Saison war ein bisschen durchwachsen für mich. Und umso glücklicher bin ich jetzt, dass ich dann halt auch die Chance bekommen habe.
Franz, bist du zufrieden für deine Rennen heute?
Ja, wir sind auf jeden Fall zufrieden. Matthias hat das super gemacht. Das war unser erstes Rennen zusammen, unser, keine Ahnung, wahrscheinlich 6. und 7. Fahrt überhaupt. Also deswegen Respekt, er hat das richtig gut gemacht. Und ja, wir haben in der Bahn im ersten Lauf ein paar Federn gelassen, im zweiten Lauf waren wir ziemlich gut. Wir haben mal wieder Topspeed im Zweier. Das war mir